Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Jane, and I'm going to be doing your April 12th, 2022 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. There will be a loud sound accompanying this cleanse. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right, Aquarius. As we were playing the singing bowl, I was also listening to and looking into the scrying bowl. And there was just a rainbow that kept on coming up. And the words, be kind, believe in kindness, be kind, believe in kindness, kept on coming forward. So that's very important during this time. And so let's look at the tarot. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. We have the High Priestess and we have the Eight of Wands. We have next, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. The Lovers, the Ten of Swords, and the King of Cups. Interesting. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Ooh, goodness. I love it when they just fall out like that. We have Judgment. We have the Star, Aquarius, that's us, coming forward. We're represented by the Star in the Major Arcana, by the Cups in the Minor Arcana. We have the Seven of Cups and the Eight of Cups. So there's something that's ending here. And there's something that we've wished for coming forward. And we are that wish. So that's going to be really quite cool. And then finally, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Just one. We have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, that reiterates that wish coming forward. So that really is quite beautiful. Okay, so let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of. Now, on the 12th of April, we have Jupiter and Neptune converging in Pisces, which hasn't happened since 1856. So when this conversion happens, and we'll see, we'll dive into everything that means. Let's see what we have to be mindful of. We have to be mindful of the Five of Pentacles. We have to be mindful of a poverty mentality coming forward and stealing away our thunder, our dreams, what we really want from our lives. So that's going to be a really important thing right here, because there's going to be the sense of, oh, but I really want it, but I can't have it. Like, oh, but I really want to be there, but I can't do it. And we're going to kind of clip our own wings. So that's something to be aware of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. We have flexibility, which is the sacral chakra coming up. And there's just a need to be, flexible within ourselves, but there's also a need to be flexible within our own minds and our own capabilities and not hold ourselves in such rigidity. So we're kind of boxing ourselves in one way or another. And Spirit's saying, why? Why does it have to be absolute? That's the question that's being asked. Then we have our Goddess Oracle energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. And this is the Traveler. And it says here, let travel, education, and communication styles take you and your ideas to the world, and or use the same to bring the world to you. So there's a sense here of I'm opening myself up to the world. I'm opening myself up to new ideas and new avenues. And that fits in with what's coming, because we have, Pisces, we have Jupiter energy, we have Neptune energy, and then we have Mars and Venus also coming forward. So the interesting thing about Pisces is that the fish swim in two separate directions. So we always feel this pull, right? One way or another. And with Jupiter and Neptune coming in, they're both very, I don't want to say polarizing, but they are very different planets. Jupiter is all about, these are my personal gifts, asserting ourselves, moving forward, having confidence. And Neptune is all about our dreams and what we want to accomplish, and what we deeply, want within ourselves, an awakening of consciousness, a emotional awakening, and also a spiritual awakening coming forward. So let's look at this historically. In 1856, we had the Treaty of Paris signed, which was the ending of the Crimean War and the conflict with Russia. So that's important for what we have going on today. And then also in 1856, we had the birth of Sigmund Freud, who gave form and definition, represented by Jupiter, to the unconscious, represented by Neptune. And Neptune rules Pisces. So our dreams and our desires and our intuition is going to be very strong during this time, because Neptune is in Pisces. So there is a sense of, I am stepping into myself, what I desire, what I need, what I want. And again, Jupiter is symbolizing our growth into what we can bring the world. But Jupiter also has the downfall of not being able to say no. Remember, Jupiter is the Roman name for Zeus, the god of the pantheon, of the Greek pantheon, the Roman pantheon. He's the head. He doesn't have to say no to anything, because he can do it all. And we have to be very mindful of not setting ourselves up for failure because of that. So be careful. Be careful what we take on. Also know that we're astoundingly lucky during this time. So there's an air of, I can do everything. I can get everything done right. There's massive opportunities for creativity and for growth during this time. We have to take them. We also have to look at what we want, at how we're stepping forward into our imagination, into our dreams, how we're connecting with the part of us that is awakening. What are we seeing there? It moves us to the energy of Venus. Venus entered into Pisces on the 5th of April. So we're looking at love much more closely. We also have a sensitivity, a compassion, a romantic energy that is really quite beautiful. Now, what we also have to remember about Neptune and about Jupiter is that they move rather slowly. They're further away from the sun, most definitely. And so they represent a collective. They represent a generation instead of just an individual times. So this is going to be a time that affects us not only on the 12th of April, but for a long time to come, as they come together, as this energy builds within us. Mars comes into Pisces on the 14th of April. And on the 14th of April, we would think, okay, I'm going to be super assertive. Yes, we're going to be more powerful. But no, we're going to be looking at the world and seeing where the world takes us. We're going to be looking at the situation. We're going to be looking at things like a general. Remember, Mars is the general. Mars rules Aries. Aries is also the general. So when it comes to this time, we're going to be looking at things and not making silly decisions. We're going to be saying, okay, what's the long-term impact? And how do I take hold of what I want, need, and desire? There is the energy here of the High Priestess. This is a time when, Jupiter and Neptune come together, where we are going to see things quite differently. When they are conjunct each other, we're going to see things quite differently than we have been seeing them before. A veil is lifted from our eyes. There's an insight, there's an intuition, there's an idea that starts opening up the door, and we're like, oh, well, what about this? And what about that? And why didn't I see it this way before? So there's that energy coming forward, and it starts to move very quickly within us. It's like all of a sudden it starts to move things. Where once it was stagnant, it's like, no, now it has to go. Now it has to go. And it brings us to this place where we look at, we look at what had broken us before. And there's this energy here, Aquarius, of it broke us. It brought us to our knees. The 10 of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is 10 swords stabbed in the back of one person. It's overkill. It could be also looking at things and giving it more energy, more time than it deserves, kind of blowing it out of proportion because it was so traumatic. It was so impactful to us. With the 10 of Swords, we're also rising out of the darkness. This is the darkness before the dawn. We have to not feed the darkness, but look at the way that we are rising. Look at the knowledge, the insight, the intuition, that we have. It brings us to this place where we start to realize, I rule just me. There's also a person around us. This is a mentor energy. This is a person who really cares for us. So it can be somebody who's closer than a mentor, but it's going to be somebody who connects with us, who's seeing us, who understands us. And this can be from a lover to, again, a mentor, somebody who wants to see us succeed. But there is this energy here of, I rule by example. And it's not that they have power over us. It's that they're setting the example of the way to move forward. And we're going to see that we emulate that. I rule my life by example. Either you get on my level or no. And it doesn't mean that we're being caustic or chaotic or, hurtful to anybody. But it does mean that we're holding our standards and we're not denying ourselves the way that we want to move forward, what we love within our lives, what's sacredly important to us. And that moves us to the lovers. It moves us to a place where we're connecting and finding love, when the love and the passion and the beauty of life isn't being diminished anymore. And we're embracing it. We're embracing what we love and who we are and where it is that we want to be. We're finding that love again. There's also Gemini energy here. So when we have the duality of Pisces, the fish swimming in two separate directions, we then have the twin energy of Gemini coming in. So there are two distinct things that we want. And we can think, okay, well, I have to sacrifice this to get this, or I have to, give up on this to get this. And Spirit's saying, what if we embrace the duality of ourselves? What if we see ourselves as different and just kind of go with it? Because the judgment, we have to be mindful during this time that the harshest judgment is going to come from us. And that everybody else has their opinion, but it's none of our business, which is really easy to say and really hard to live by. Judgment comes in. And we're going to see ourselves rising out of the darkness, rising out of the box that we were put in, rising out of the way that we thought we were supposed to be. And that comes from the High Priestess. The veil is lifted. It's like, oh, I didn't know that this was even an option. And it brings us to a place where we start seeing us. And as we see us, as we embrace our dreams and what we truly love, and as we look at the deep-seated, passion of our hearts, which sounds overly poetic or sappy, but it's really true. It's like, what does my heart long for? Where do I long to be? We start to walk away from what is no longer relevant. We also have a very strong ending coming forward. And it could be something that we've been putting off, because I do see like a pushing away. So this is an ending that we might not necessarily be as comfortable with now as we will be over time. But there's a sense here of, I need to walk for me. Like, I need to walk forward for me. This isn't for anybody else. This is for me. And this is for the realization of what I've dreamt of where I need to be, of what I desire, of what I'm seeing for myself. And as that energy comes forward, there is a wish being granted. There is a beauty being seen and being heard. And there's a sense of, I'm stepping into myself. My conscious, my subconscious, I'm stepping into where I need to be for me and what I desire for me. Which might sound selfish to some, but it most definitely isn't. It's like, this is what I need to grow. I need to see myself rising. And I need to embrace what I've longed for so long. And that becomes the game changer. It moves us to the energy that we need to be mindful of. And that is the Three of Pentacles. We need to be mindful of how much energy we're spending working with others or observing others and not putting that work into ourselves. Letting other people get the credit and us not even being seen. It then moves us to our chakra energy. So Spirit is really saying here, take the opportunities or make the opportunities. It moves us then to our subconscious chakra energy of the inner child. This is the heart chakra. We need to embrace our inner child. We need to embrace what we love and what we want. And that child that we once were. Whenever this card comes up, I love the exercise of holding our arms opened to the child we once were and letting that child run into our arms and saying, I love you. I see you. I will always love you. I will always, I will always be here for you. And letting ourselves feel safe and letting ourselves feel seen, both as the adult we are now and the child that we were. It moves us then to our subconscious goddess energy, and it is the shadow. And it says, make a friend and ally of your shadow side making a friend and ally of your shadow side is necessary for becoming your authentic self, a key element of your true success. And that's it. We need to make that friend of that side of us that we try to push away. And it's like, no, this is me, full-heartedly. And I embrace me. It brings us, our shadow side is the side that we don't want society to see, the side that we might not necessarily always be comfortable with. But if we see it, and if we know it, and if we own it, and if we tame it, and if we acknowledge it, all of a sudden we are powerful. We're not helpless. We're power. It brings us to our subconscious tarot message, which begins with the Two of Cups, a healing, beautiful love coming forward, a sense of connection, a sense of, oh, this is what it is. It brings us then to the Two of Pentacles. Something is coming into balance, but we first need to come into balance with ourselves. And we could be juggling the energy of our subconscious, the energy of our dreams, and the energy of how we're presenting ourselves to the world. We need to become balanced in that energy. We need to become aware of what we want, but we also need to be balanced within ourselves, meaning that we can't take on everything if we're still utterly chaotic. It moves us then to the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is the energy we need to be mindful of. It's subconsciously, we're out in the cold. Subconsciously, we're not worthy, or we're not entitled to the luxury. We're not entitled to the prosperous. We're not entitled to the security. It doesn't mean that we have to live in mansions or drive fancy cars, right? The Five of Pentacles is the sense of where it's not stable. It's not safe. And why is that energy coming in? Where's the lack and where's the hurt? And where's the pain that we've been carrying for way too long? Because we've been carrying this. And that's going to be something that we resurrect from. We rise out of that box of, oh no, this wealth isn't for me. It brings us then to the Four of Pentacles. And I love this card because it's like a balancing of prosperity. It's getting everything in alignment. And what the Four of Pentacles usually symbolizes for me is that things aren't in alignment. It's vampiric energy. It's the pulling away. And Spirit is saying here, we're cutting that vampiric energy. We're finding the balance. We're finding a way to be very secure, be very relevant within ourselves. And that's a game changer here. That is exactly what we need to make the wishes, to make the dreams come true. All right, Aquarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and intensity of this time, but also of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aquarius, and may blessings always be with you.